The other thing I just saw Steve mention or got asked before about Moses, who didn't play again until garbage minutes in the final, minute 45 there. So there's a lot of people on Twitter/X talking about like why is Leicester playing over Moses, which is a fair argument to make. It's kind of weird the trust that Steve has in Leicester, where he's going out and almost at times being the primary defender on Jamal Murray, which is a little weird. But it is what it is. Clearly, they like his kind of energy and perimeter defense a little bit. That's fine. I actually think that moving forward, because you've got to look at Leicester and think, well, Chris Paul's just taking his minutes once he returns, which I think he's returning at some point on this 4-game road trip coming up. So if you're looking at a way in which Moses is going to get back into the rotation, it shouldn't have anything to do with Leicester, because Leicester will be out of the rotation himself anyway. I'm just looking at this game and I'm thinking, if Saric is no longer a 5, and which is a good decision from Steve, to be fair, but if he's no longer a 5 and he's playing at the 4 and TJD's at the 5, could you just not play Saric? And could you play Moody actually over Saric? And I know that is going to sound weird for me to say, given myself and a lot of Warrior fans are constantly asking for bigger lineups and stop going to these 3-guard lineups and whatever else. But I don't actually think there'd be too much difference between playing Moses over Dario, regardless, like despite their 3-inch height difference or whatever, and the fact that Dario is more of a genuine big, I suppose, to a degree, and Moses is a wing. I'm trying to work out these bench units going forward once CP3 returns. And I personally, if Moses is going to play, which I'm watching Dario today and I just think, like, what are you providing here that Moses couldn't? And I think Moses would provide actually more stability with what he can do defensively, which I'm not saying he's a great defender, but he's a far better defender than Dario is, obviously. And I'm looking at these bench units once CP3 returns. I'm thinking, could you go with Paul, Clay, Moody, JK, and TJD, and just not and like Surridge is a DNP, and maybe Looney's a DNP as well. And then you've obviously got GP2 to throw into the mix. So what I'm saying there is JK is, and I don't want, people have misconstrued this at times, I think, in the YouTube comments. Like JK is still a starter. So when I'm talking about JK with the second unit, I'm saying, he's a starter, comes off, has his break, and then comes back on with the second unit. And I've been, which I said on last podcast, I've been a little bit surprised that Steve's gone away from that and that he's almost prioritized JK playing more with Steph rather than necessarily playing in the second unit, where I think if he's not out there, and it's really only Clay, you're putting a lot of pressure on Clay to hit shots. And he did that in the first half, and the bench unit looked good as a result. But again, I don't think that's a sustainable way to play moving forward. So I would like to see both Clay and JK there at the same time. I'd like to see TJD there because of the chemistry and connection he has with Clay as well. CP3 kind of running things. And then maybe Moody can be that 5th guy. And that's the way he can actually play. And then, as I said, GP2, I think I like GP2 playing alongside Steph and alongside Draymond.